Our neighbor, Orrin, ever since he got his new mower, mowing the whole neighborhood.
Hey, good mower, you want it to be tough and to move.
Such a good job. Does such a good job, we're making the yard bigger.
What?
Does such a
Murray
good...
mowers are as tough as they come, cutting after cutting after cutting.
That Murray's a goodbye.
What?
Goodbye.
Oh, say hello to Edna.
Murray mowers, tough as they come.
Advantage Jeep vehicles. Others copy, none compare. Advantage Eagle. New looks in performing art. Advantage Savings. Guaranteed cash back on Jeep Cherokees. New Eagle Premieres. Hot new Eagle Talons. And Jeep Wranglers. During the Guaranteed Advantage Sellathon, the only advantage you don't have is time.
See your National Capital Area Jeep and Eagle dealer, where you can expect the best. Up to center ice, works it free from Chambers. Ridley in alone, a shot and a goal! A minute to go in the penalty. Here's Kalle Johansson in front, a shot and a goal! Nobody gives you more playoff action. Catch all the Caps home playoff games on the channel you cheer for. Home Team Sports.
And we welcome you back to our Sports Channel America studios in New York. I'm Bob Papa, along with Dennis Potvin. 2 periods complete. The Bruins lead the Whalers by a 3-0 score. Well, the Boston Bruins are 20 minutes away from advancing to the Adams Division Finals against the Montreal Canadiens. At the Boston Garden tonight, Bruins lead it by a 3-0 score. Cam Neely has a goal, Craig Janney has a goal, and an assist in this game. And Dennis Potvin, when you look at this game the way it's been going, especially in period number 2, it's been kind of sluggish.
Well, it has seemed kind of sluggish, but, Bob, there was a period in that second period where the Hartford Whalers were leading in shots on goal by 21-11. And the guy most responsible for keeping Hartford off the scoreboard is Andy Moog. Here's a wonderful save on a deflection from Pat Verbeek. Now, we all remember Game 4. That was the game where Hartford was ahead 5-2 going into the third period. Mike Milbury made a change. That change was to put Moog into the net. The Hartford Whalers were getting to Lemlin. Since that time, the Boston Bruins have never looked back. They've stuck with Moog. He's in tonight. He's shunning out the Hartford Whalers at the moment. And I think he's the guy that we're going to see a lot of in upcoming series.
Well, he's had a spectacular series, and Hartford struggling on the power play. They've only converted 2 of 32 chances in the series. Well, this past weekend, the Buffalo Sabres playoff failures, well, they had all sorts of trouble. They continued to be eliminated, and we'll get to that Buffalo story after this time out on Sports Channel America.
Ever wonder what they mean by zestfully clean? It's the feeling you get when...
Please hold on to the bar. Zestfully clean. Zestfully clean. You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
That's zestfully clean.
It's strange. I can't pick up anything.
Still, huh? Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Are we on yet?
We on yet?
Jordan gets the ball. He drives down the left side of the fairway. Bo Jackson catches it at the wall and fires a bullet to McEnroe. Yes. Wow. Delectable. And now a word from our sponsor. Nice shoes.
Gretzky takes the puck up the ice and fires
The backhand out of the bunker for a home run. Score. Game, set, and touchdown.
Nice shoes. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Holy cow!
Got a cold? Gotta keep going? Gotta go with Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. When you gotta keep going, you gotta go with Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Welcome back. Well, as we told you, this past weekend, the Buffalo Sabres playoff failures continued. They were eliminated in round number 1 by Montreal in 6 games. Now, after the game, Buffalo coach Rick Dudley implied that the lineup used wasn't his, but general manager Jerry Meehan. Team sources say that Meehan wanted the speedy Alexander Mogilny to play instead of Ken Priestley. Meehan says the media has been buffaloed.
He was kind of browbeating himself for not doing what he wanted, what his first instincts told him. He indicated to me that he didn't feel that there was any pressure placed on him from my end to play certain guys. One of the things that coaches have to do in their jobs is they have to listen to input from a lot of people.
Well, Buffalo has not advanced past the first round since 1983. Now, Dennis, when you take a look at this situation, can teams be successful when there's bickering between the GM and the coach?
No, obviously not. It's a very difficult situation to try and understand. I think that it's really petty to look at this particular situation in light of the way that some of the superstars for Buffalo played in the series against Montreal or didn't play against Montreal. But the fact still remains, I only played for one organization, but it seems to me the general manager deals more in the political aspect. When he says things, it's more politically inclined, whereas the coach will deal most likely with production and performance. That's all he cares about. The rest, contract, politically, that's all left to the general manager. In this case, I don't know if that was the issue, but obviously there was some disagreement, but I wouldn't say that's why they lost the series.
Okay, well, as we get set for the divisional finals, which begin tomorrow night, our crack staff has compiled some more stats you always wanted to know, but were afraid to ask. And you take a look at Hartford, well, they've only reached the second round once since 1979. That came in 1986 when they beat Quebec. Meanwhile, the Canadians have played the Bruins the last 6 years in the playoffs. Montreal has won 5 of the 6. And how about Chicago's Wayne Presley? He has been a scoring machine. 6 goals in the regular season. He has scored 5 in the playoffs. And while we're talking about Presley in Chicago, we never hear about teams from the Norris division being viable cup candidates.
And they really haven't been. I mean, that's why. It's very simple. These teams have not held up their own during the regular season. The big teams have beaten those Norris division teams. But this year, my pick was Calgary, figuring they have the most balanced team. Most other teams, you take away 1 or 2 of their top players, and these teams are very normal again. Well, now you take Calgary away, and everybody is at a point where they have a couple of players that really make the difference. And now I think that in itself will give Dennis Savard and the Chicago Blackhawks, for instance, a better chance of the finals.
Well, you'll see those Norris Division teams at work and the rest of it all on Sports Channel America. Period 3 from Boston comes your way after this timeout.
Over 28 million adults get athlete's foot.
I'm Jim Bird. I had athlete's foot until I used NP27. It has an ingredient recommended by doctors.
Look, NP27 stops the burning, itching of athlete's foot fast.
NP27. Nothing's a better cure for athlete's foot.
I love your new kitchen. Who did it? Sears did it.
All of it? Even the new windows in the patio door.
And the fence around the patio.
Yeah, they gave us a free estimate, their famous satisfaction guarantee, even the financing.
Oh, you two always know the best deals.
Sears is the best deal I've heard of tonight.
Sears Home Improvements, professionally installed, satisfaction guaranteed, or your money back. Sears Home Improvement Professional, the most trusted name around the house.
At All-Star Dodge, we've been Baltimore's #1 Dodge retail dealer for the past 7 years. Our customers keep coming back again and again because All-Star sells below credit union buying services and sometimes even below fleet prices. All-Star's $500 down cash or trade policy lets just about anybody drive a new Omni, Caravan, Daytona, or Dodge pickup truck right away. And you'll find All-Star's company executive demos discounted as much as 30% right now at All-Star.
Score through 40 minutes. Rick Peckham and Jerry Cheevers back with you here on Sports Channel. And Jerry, let's have a look first at the 2 goals in the first period by the Bruins to take us up to second period scoring and action.
One of the big differences in tonight's game between the teams is the Bruins have come out of their end a little easier, and this is a good illustration of that, and it'll lead to a goal by John Weiss. Here's a great move by Carter inside to the outside, forcing Sidorkiewicz to slide out and make the save. And who's following the play up but the man who made the pass to Carter, John Weiss, for his first National Hockey League goal. The second goal of the first period, the second goal of the game, will be some nifty passing by the Bruins on a 5-on-3 advantage. You'll see the puck deflected to Craig Janney, and this made it 2-0 in the first period. And it took 15 minutes of the second period for a goal to happen, but it was a pretty little play by Neely to Janney, back to Neely, and the very accurate shot by Cam Neely off the left post past Peter Sidorkiewicz, which made it 3-0. We'll see it develop right here at neutral ice. Neely really hustling to get out of the Whaler end. A quick pass, give and go, right back, and that made it 3-0 Bruins. But during that period, Rick, a couple of close calls for both sides, and the post was ringing early in the period. The posts were ringing in favor of the Whalers as John Carter hit the post, then Raymond Bourque hit the post. But we'll see Carter's shot right here. Nice little shot by Carter through his screen off the left post, and this play will continue, and it'll end up in the right point where Raymond Bourque will walk in and drift it. I don't know if this hit the post or the crossbar, but it got up there pretty quick, and it had a lot of zip on it. We'll say it hit both the post and the crossbar right up in the angle up there. A good chance for the Whalers in that period. Todd Krieger, who's had 2 or 3 chances, he's going to try the wraparound right here. And you stop it. He stays with it and tries to jam it. Now, Andy Moog really thought this was in, Rick, but you can see the whistle went. Look at the puck right there. Not much question about that. I mean, if you want to argue for replay, there's a good one in favor of a no goal.
The Whalers, despite some great scoring chances like the one you just saw in the second period, find themselves down 3-0. They still have 38 seconds of penalty time to kill with Chris Govidaris in the box for tripping to start the third period. So it's quite a hole that the Whalers have to try to pull themselves out of if they want to pull out this series in the 7th game. We'll return with third period action.
Come to the companies of the Prudential and build your future on the rock. Buy Mercury on the full line of 1990 Mercury automobiles. See them now at your Lincoln Mercury dealer. Buy a 9X. When the question is leading technology for your business, the answer is 9X. And buy Zest Deodorant Bar. You're not fully clean until you're zestfully clean.
Jerry, both these teams were excellent road clubs, the best 2 in the league in the regular season. They've proven to be opportunistic both at that time and also in this series, converting on a lot of mistakes. The Whalers, one of their problems tonight is the Bruins just haven't made many mistakes.
No, they haven't, Rick. They're playing a wise game. I kind of thought they were a little wrong in defending that 2-0 lead through the first part of that second period, but they were just waiting for a break. Obviously got it near the end with the Neely goal, and they'll be a very tough hockey club to beat. But I'll tell you, if you've played as hard as the Whalers have right now and haven't scored, you're certainly not going to score if you play easier, if you don't play as hard.
Now the Whaler players can certainly count on hearing Rick Lee barking in their ears. He'll settle for nothing less than a victory tonight. But his team in this deciding game situation, that's been his approach all season long. They didn't take real kindly to his approach as the season began. They weren't used to that approach. But They figured out if they wanted to play, they are going to have to play it his way, hard-nosed all the time, and they have reacted with a fine finish in the regular season and an excellent series against the Bruins. 27 seconds remaining on the penalty to Govidaris. Here's Craig Janney. Makes the pass to Carpenter, shooting a pass saved by Sidorkovich. He'll cover it as Samuelson and Neely meet once again.
Cam Neely, I'll tell you, he showed a lot of restraint in this series, especially in his eye-to-eye meetings with Ulf Samuelson.
Bobby Carpenter has found himself a home. Of course, he's from this area, returning home as far as his hockey is concerned in Boston after being quite the vagabond for a couple of years, from the Caps to the Rangers to the Kings, and now back home.
I'm sure Bobby Carpenter thought this is my last chance.
Shot by Bork, and he blisters one wide. Tippett backhands it down the ice. 7 seconds remaining on the penalty to Govidaris. Janney maneuvers in, drops it for Bork. Samuelson tangles with Neely again. Christian centers. It's off Francis's leg. And Jennings taps it out to Evison. Govidaris clears it ahead to Francis. As Bork sweeps the puck away, Christian catches up to it, takes the drive, and it's deflected off Jennings and wide. Sidorkovich obviously didn't have any time to react to the puck hitting Jennings' skate. Christian steps in. Goal mouth pass. Burridge can't get there in time. He steps away from Sivac Cote. Christian had it hop off his stick. Ladouceur gives chase. Moves it ahead to Verbeek. Krieger with speed, though. He had the puck worked away by the Boston defense. Galley sails it off the glass. Burridge has Poulin and Christian on the move. Abe Christian takes the shot. It's forced wide by Ladouceur. Burridge tumbles to the ice and gives up the puck to Ferraro. It's a 3-on-2. Krieger storms in, back to Ferraro. Sweeney's on him, and he chops the puck to center. Babbage risks it in. Letters get Young and Tomlak on to join Ferraro. Don Sweeney plays it out to center.
Rick, the Whalers are going to have to get their defensemen really involved in their offense. They're going to have to hustle up with the play.
Young on the backhand of Ferraro. It's broken up by Wesley. The puck is loose, and Carter speeds out with it on a 3-on-2. Carter to Carpenter, shooting, and he sails it past Sidorkovich's glove. The carom reaches center. Beers hands it to Carpenter. He maneuvers in. Carter lets it fly, and it's off Samuelson's right arm and deflects to Wesley. Back around to Carter. He's played 2:40 here in the third. 3-0 Boston. Centering pass is knocked down by Sidorkovich, and he covers the puck, and we've got Samuelson tangled up with, I believe, John Carter. And they've finally been separated. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs will continue after these messages.
10 years ago today, they called us May, December. You with a flush of youth on your cheeks, and me with a hint of snow in my hair. And they laughed at our recklessness when we used words like love and forever. And on our 10th anniversary, on a night very much like tonight, with the clouds playing tag with the moon, December wants to thank you for bringing me May.
The war for the Stanley Cup continues with the start of the Wales Conference Finals. Catch Game 1 as the Washington Capitals battle the Rangers. All the excitement starts on Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, live on Sports Channel. Check your local listings for games in your area.
The Whalers aren't going to get very many chances as we look at John Carter. He and Ulf Samuelson in the box for roughing. 2 minutes each. I don't think the Bruins aren't going to give them any chances, Rick. There's an experienced team, as we've mentioned all through this series. They're going to have to create their own, and that's why, I mentioned that the defensemen are going to have to get up. They're going to have to be part of the offense. They're going to have to compact the playing area. They're going to have to stay in if it's there.
And they've got to do it against the team that recorded the fewest goals against in the regular season to win the Jennings Trophy after Montreal had won that award 3 straight years. Here's Beers to slide the puck in deep. Bradshaw gets to it. Looks for Kevin Dineen. Chips the pass across to Govidaris, who's seeing considerable ice time here in the second half of this game. Wesley changes direction and finds Dineen waiting for him. Govidaris throws his shoulder into goal. The centering pass got by Francis, and Shaw has to backtrack, and now we've got Dineen and Wesley tangled up behind the play. Koharski had a pretty good view of it, and he is going to call penalties. At least one here.
Well, we know that Kevin Dineen's going, and I believe that Wesley will go also, so these will be coincidental.
3:11, the time of the penalties. We'll pick up third period action with the Bruins leading 3-0 in just a moment.
You never know what the day will bring.
Contract law.
Next building.
But the unexpected's a real sure thing. On demand, you're more sure.
You see, Sure responds on demand to work harder when you need it more.
No volunteers?
So Sure helps keep you dry.
You may never know when you need more Sure, but Sure knows when.
The third part.
Correct. Give you more. Raise your head on demand. You're more Sure.
Coincidental to Dineen and Wesley. Dineen with the elbowing call. Wesley roughing. Rick Lee's searching for the right combination to solve Andy Moog. Moog hasn't been spectacular, but very solid.
Alan Peterson plays it to Prop, and Babbage works it away to his partner, Sivan Cote. Cote's pass is by Verbeek. Bork tracks it down, and icing results against the Whalers. We look at Todd Krieger, who had scored the first Hartford goal in each of the first 2 games. The Whalers won Game 1 in this building 4-3. They won at home in Game 3 5-3. And, of course, the overtime win on Sunday night in Game 6 3-2, with Kevin Dineen picking up his 3rd career playoff game winner. Mike Milbury and Gordie Clark. Well, Gordie's pretty calm, but Milbury's pacing away.
Well, neither of these coaches have won a series in NHL play.
Teammates in Rochester, the American League, back about 15, 16 years ago as Bruin property. Clark never made it to the big club, but Milbury did for a 12-year career. Bork with the drive, deflected, and the puck's loose in the circle. Cote grabs it. Gives it to Jody Hull. 3 Bruins are back. Peterson eases Tippett out of the play. Bork is a little more emphatic as he goes to work against Jody Hull. Evison leaves it for Hull. Cam Neely going to come up with it. Peterson bumps with Evison. Tippett fishes for the puck, gets it loose. Neely runs him out of there. Bork plays it off the corner glass. Babbage pinches in. Neely strong arms it to Bork, and he'll clear. Cote races back for it, and icing results against the Bruins this time.
I like the way these 2 veteran linesmen, Ray Scapanello and Ronnie Finn, play these icings. You know, they circle a little bit, they look around. Even the puck was going at a slow speed. They're 2 of the best, these guys.
They handle the game very smoothly.
They've been all over this in this preliminary round of the Stanley Cup Series.
Yeah, a few frequent flyer miles been piled up by the officials.
They'll be spending a lot of time in Hawaii this summer.
Harry Galley pushes the pass ahead. Burridge is checked by Shaw, and the Bruins clear. It's played back in. The Bruins move it ahead. Krieger takes on Don Sweeney. He couldn't come up with a puck. Poulin did. And he'll sail it in deep in the Hartford zone. Shaw gets back. Makes the pass to Francis. The Whaler captain looks for Verbeek. Krieger speeds in after it. Moog stepped out to play it away. Poulin ties up with Francis. Ladouceur muscles his way down the boards. Verbeek misses Francis on the pass. Krieger leaves it behind the net as Poulin and Francis are locked up once again. Burridge can't clear. Poulin has it. His pass is batted in the air by Verbeek. Play continues. Shaw sends it back to Tomlak. Galley is opposite numbers on him. And Galley gets position on Tomlak. Burridge. Checked by Francis. Koharski looks on, wants play to continue, and it does. Finally, the puck is swatted to center by Galley.
That took an awful lot of time and an awful lot of hard work by both teams, and it only benefited the Bruins as they're killing the clock right now. And the Whalers aren't getting any good scoring chances out of it.
Babbage into Tomlak, and the play is whistled down offside. 14:21 to go here in the third. Boston leads at 3-0. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs will continue after these messages.
Win a chance to appear with me, Tom Davis, during an Orioles game. Stay tuned for all the details about this exciting amateur announcer contest.
It's the craftsman. It's the mechanic. It's all of us. We're the great American investors. We invest in U.S. savings bonds because bonds pay competitive rates. Find out more. Call 1-800-US-BONDS.
Since about the 12 or 13-minute mark of the second period, the Whalers have not had a shot on net. The shots since that time are in favor of the Bruins 11-0. And you can't score if you don't shoot.
That's at about a 14-minute span as Tomlak tries to start it into Ferraro. Samuelson pushes it toward the net, and Wesley gets a stick on it. He's checked by Young. Weiss, who had the game-opening goal tonight, and his clearing pass knocked down by Babbage. Wesley has it once again. Gives it to Gould. He'll send it down the boards. Samuelson's on the move. Gould is looking for him. He finds him in the collision. Ferraro slips away. Plenty of Bruins back, though. Here's Tomlak. Trying to put it toward the net, and Ferraro is tackled by Beers. They come crashing into Moog, who might be shaken up. Holding is upcoming on the penalty to Beers. Moog's trying to get out of there.
Yeah, he's got his skate caught in the mesh. But you could see Beers as he fell into the net. His expression will prove him guilty on this play. Let's watch how the play develops. Ray Ferraro doing what just about everyone in hockey does. Makes the pass and goes to the net. Watch Beers right here. Guilty, boss. I'm going to the box right now. Don't worry about it.
Jerry, I was looking at a page in the NHL guide at rule changes through the history of the league. Believe it or not, the league instituted a rule in 1931-32 that said that attacking players could not impede movement or obstruct the view of goaltenders. Can you imagine trying to implement that rule now?
Rick, would be in marathon games. There'd be you better have a good power play and a good penalty killing unit.
Anything short of assault is
obstructing view of a goaltender.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
You'd have to play in the Atlantic Ocean or something.
I don't think you could kick the puck in those days. Here's Young shooting, and he drives it wide. The Whalers back in the power play, and they simply must have something here. Here's Poulin rushing back, lets it go. It's wide of Sidorkovich. Galley plays it down the boards, and Sidorkovich leaves it for point man Scott Young, who creates so many scoring chances on the power play in the regular season. He does not have an assist in this series, and his two-line pass to Dineen is whistled down.
You know, the Whalers are all right once they set up in the Bruins zone, but they labor so much in setting up. They spend so much time getting possession in there. It's just in the position they're in right now. I think they got to hustle things up, hurry things up. The clock certainly favors the Bruins right now with a 3-0 lead. 13-16 left. Tough for a goaltender. You know your team's really struggling getting scoring opportunities, and you know it. You can't let another one in if you ever hope to win.
Francis and Poulin meet for the 1,000th time in this series on a face-off. And Wesley sails it down the ice. 1:23 left on the penalty to Beers. Just over 13 minutes left in regulation time. The Whalers trail 3-0. Young with a pass to Babbitt. He'll shoot it in. Moog plays it, and we get a whistle for the offside. They'll bring it back out to center. Talking about the officials earlier, Jerry, and the traveling that they're doing. Dave Newell was injured in this series, re-injured a rotator cuff in his left shoulder. Dan McCourt was injured in the last game, clipped by a stick as we look at the Whaler problems here at the Garden in this series on a face-off, and apparently has bleeding behind the right eye, but he's going to be all right. He's resting in a hospital in Hartford and is going to be fine. So that's certainly good news as far as Dan is concerned.
It certainly is. And when is Newell going to be able to pitch again? Isn't that the problem all pitchers have?
I think so. But, he's had a injury-racked season, Dave Newell. Certainly one of the finest officials you'll find. Here's Wesley to try to play it up the boards. He's tied up by Verbeek, who steps in. And it's tipped away to center. The frustration mounts on this Hartford power play, and you saw the numbers to back that up. Young drives it in. Dineen leaves it for Babbage. Takes the shot. Deflected off Bork. And the puck ends up in the seats.
A lot of pointing here. Bork's pointing. Andy Moog's pointing. Kowarski's pointing to the linesman. I believe the puck will stay, the faceoff will stay in the Bruins zone. I got to believe it went off Bork also. Here's a shot by Dave Babbage. Let's watch the front of the net. Babbage had to rush this shot. Boy, I looked from there. It went off of Kevin Dineen, which would have meant the faceoff should come outside. But Dave Babbage here usually keeps the shot low. We'll get another angle of it here. This gets up a little bit. Oh, no, it went off Raymond Bork's stick. The shaft of his stick into the stands. And once again, the officials with a proper call.
Rick Lee has a number of eggs in one basket here with Verbeek, Dineen, and Francis operating up front, and Babbage and Young back them up, trying to get something going with 40 seconds left in the Beers penalty. Dineen feeds it through to Verbeek, and Prop just had enough of him to prevent him from doing anything with a pass. Young to Babbage, wrist shot, and it's deflected by Prop up into the crowd. Jerry, in Hartford, the Whalers have produced some goals from the points with simply harmless shots just designed to get something on the net to see what would happen. The Whalers have not been able to really even get that going in this building.
Well, the end zones are much bigger in the arena at Hartford. You have more time to direct that shot towards the net, but as you just saw in this power play, the Bruin penalty killers up front, especially Poulin and Prop, with all their experience, get to both Scotty Young and this man very quickly, and you really don't even have time to float it towards the net.
Babbage talks it over as the Whalers try to figure out a way to beat Andy Moog with 29 seconds now left in the power play. Ron Francis goes to work against Christian.
Dave Christian, as we've mentioned a few times, been very successful on the draws. That's a great example of what we just saw.
Samuelson keeps it in off the Bork clearing attempt. Dineen lost the handle. Peterson is checked by Francis. Bork cannot clear again. Shaw over to Samuelson. Shaw pushes it in front. Verbeek whacks at it, and he sends it over the crossbar. Dineen checked by Peterson. They both hit the ice, and the pileup causes the whistle to blow with 6 seconds remaining on the penalty to Beers.
Pat Verbeek couldn't believe that he could get his stick on this attempt. Not only get his stick on it, he golfed it over the net. This would have gone 250 on any course. The rookie Bob Beers, who had such a great game in Game 4 and got such a big goal for the Bruins to bring them within one in their amazing comeback. There's the shots. Don't forget it started this period. We're nearing the halfway of the period. 11:49 left at 23-20 favoring the Whalers. So this has been a 2-0 period. And I'm sure the Bruins don't want to change a thing.
Francis talks over some positioning here with Samuelson and Verbeek. Francis led the team with 15 power play goals in the regular season. Neither of his 2 goals in this series have been scored with a man advantage. Hartford struggled against Boston in the regular season, 2 of 28 in the 8 meetings. They haven't certainly improved on that against the Bruins in this series. Christian kicks the puck behind the net. Galley slips in there ahead of Francis. Bork wins the race for the puck. Beers joins the play. Boston's back to full strength as Samuelson slides it over to Brad Shaw. And we get a whistle as Moog's net was pushed off the magnet. 11:34 to go in the third. Still 3-0 Bruins. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs will continue after these messages.
HTS presents an exciting contest this Orioles season, the Amateur Announcer Contest. Win a chance to appear with me, Tom Davis, during the highlight segment of an Orioles telecast on Home Team Sports. To enter, sign up at Baltimore's original sports bar before April the 20th at 5:30 or send a postcard to Amateur Announcer, care of Home Team Sports. Warm up for the Orioles' second opener at the original sports bar April the 20th from 5 till 7. Baltimore's original sports bar proudly features Miller Genuine Draft, Baltimore's #1 draft choice. You must be 21 or older to enter.
Well, the Whalers trailing by 3 goals, as you see. They got to pull out all the stops offensively, take a few chances. I usually say, let's wait till the 10-minute mark before we do all that, but they're just can't get close right now, so they got to try whatever they can to get scoring opportunities.
Mike Tomlak rolls the puck in behind Moog. Don Sweeney gets back for it. Bounces it to center. Babbage knocks it loose. Sylvain Cote bumps with Bob Sweeney. Cote saw he had help on the way. And Ferraro leads it for Young. Young is checked by Burridge. Bob Sweeney handles it. Out to Randy Burridge. Burridge cuts in. That's the shot go. It's gloved by Sidorkovich. Samuelson met by Neely. Wesley feeds it back down the boards. Neely is there. Pass is tipped away by Young. Ferraro works it away from Wesley. Carpenter, though, will dump it right back in.
As we saw that hit develop, you really didn't think that Cam Neely was going to neglect that one.
Andy Moog leaves it for Beers. He had to spin away from trouble. Tippett closes in, but Beers comes out with a puck. Cool, and it's swatted away by Samuelson. Beers needs some help this time. Tippett got it away. He tried to quickly spring Deneen. John Carter, as we near the midway point of the third period, makes the pass by Carpenter. It hit Ray Scampanello on the left foot. He's shaking it off. Boston has protected its 3-0 lead perfectly to this point as Bork is back, and icing is the call against the Whalers.
Well, since it's become 3-0 at the 15:22 mark of the second period, Ricky hit the nail right in the head perfectly. It's got to be perfect when you don't allow the team a shot.
Peter Sidorkovich going to hold off the Bruins to give his teammates a chance to come back here.
Let's go back to this hit by Cam Neely. You know he's not going to let this one go by. And you know what? I kind of feel that Ulf Sandwich knew it was coming also as he prepared himself for that avalanche.
Our good friend Don Cherry, of course, puts together some pretty good crunching body check videotapes, and I think he could have an addition with Neely and Samuelson from this series, the way they've gone at each other.
He doesn't like to use Europeans in those tapes, but when we see him, if we ever get a chance to see him, I'm sure he'll say that he's an Ulf Samuelson fan.
Francis is checked by Bork. Verbeek and Peterson pile in there, and the whistle blows. Well, you could say the rivalry between these teams began at the start of the WHA when the New England Whalers were battling the Bruins to get some home dates in this building before moving down the road to Hartford. And the Bruins really have never acknowledged the Whalers as a rival. certainly with the long-time rivalries with Montreal and the Rangers, but there are people in the Whaler organization who've been there since day one. Certainly Skip Cunningham, you see there reaching down for a water bottle. Bill Barnes, Dave Andrews, a couple of executives who've been with the team since day one, who had been living for this opportunity, a 7th game against the Bruins.
I think you can tell by the reaction of the fans. In the stadium, there's been a few fights break out in each building and all that. I think that rivalry has certainly not really reached its highest peak, but it's really developed in this series.
Cote takes out Burridge. Babbage plays it around to the point. Galley has to take it at center for Beeks right there. Babbage sweeps it rink wide for Krieger. Francis can't get it by Dave Poulin. 9:10 to go here in the third. It's 3-0 Bruins. They scored 2 in the first. Neely made it 3-0 in the second. Poulin shovels it in. Takes a hit from Cote. Bruins change up. Ferraro sends it to Krieger, and that pass was negated by Wesley. Christian ridden to the boards by Ferraro, and the Bruins will give chase while Hartford completes a change.
Well, certainly a lot of things favor the Bruins right at the present time, and one of them, Rick, is the fact that they're making quick changes and are using all their forwards, where the Whalers are in a position to use their goal scorers.
8:32 left in the third period. The Bruins are in front 3-0.
Nothing moves you.
Something wild is coming.
That's why.
The Cougar XR7. It has speed-sensitive steering and anti-lock brakes. But most of all, it has a supercharged 210 horsepower engine. It's becoming a cat-eat-dog world out there.
See your dealer now for low financing or special savings on 1990 Mercury Cougar XR7.
As we said, one of the factors favoring the Bruins right now, besides the score and the clock, is the fact that, you know, they're utilizing all their players, Rick. The Whalers got to keep coming back with their scores, and also the ice is pretty chopped up right now, and it's tough to make good plays.
Young, quick shot, a pad save by Moog, and he kicked it by Ferraro. Neely gets rid of it. Jody Hall misses Young cutting through. Ray Bork angles it to center, and Neely is offside. They'll bring it back.
Like this series, as we said, there's still some time left, 8:15. But if they did pick an MVP of the series, I would nail it down to Poulin and Cam Neely. Here's the first shot in a long time by the Whalers, and you'll see Andy Moog using his strong side. That's his left side to make the save. I got to go to Poulin or Neely. Of course, it's still open. If someone would somehow come to the front and get 4 goals for the Whalers, we'd have to pick him.
Dave Poulin, quite an acquisition in mid-January from the Flyers for Ken Linsman. He's had an impact all over the ice for the Bruins since then, particularly in this series. As Babbage tries to hold his ground against Bob Sweeney, Evason's pass is kicked away, and Pop sends it down the ice. Babbage has to hurry back for it. Out comes Babbage. His pass is knocked down by Neely. He's bumped by Cote. Prop cuts in at the angle, backhands it into the pads of Sidorkovich. Bob Sweeney gives it to Brian Prop. Bob Sweeney gonna put it in front. Galley, quick shot, stick save by Sidorkovich. Don Sweeney kept it in. Bob Sweeney gathers it in. Chased by Babbage. The pass was knocked away by Evason. Evason runs into Prop. Cam Neely looks for Prop, and it's just out of his reach. Deneen leaves it for Babbage. He'll backhand it out. And Tippett bounces it into the Boston zone. Moog strays as far as he's come in this game as Deneen is belted by Gary Galley. And we have an interference call to Galley with 7:03 to go in the third.
Well, Andy Moog sort of confused things behind the net as he played a puck that was slow getting to him. And watch Galley come from behind, and this is going to be called interference as You could see the puck was nowhere near Kevin Dineen when Galley hit him from behind. It's an interference call. 7:03 left.
2 minutes for interference.
I don't even have to mention the fact that no power play goal here. Forget it. I'm sure Rick Lee's thinking the same way.
His team finished 13th in the regular season with a man advantage, 20.1% efficiency. And like every power play, they went through some dry spells. Nothing even close to what has developed in this series.
What are we up to? Nothing for 22. This is...
Yep, 0 for 22, and this being the 23rd chance here in Boston. Hartford is 2-11, 2 for 11, I should say, in Hartford. He missed a key 5-minute penalty with Neely off for the game for high sticking late in the third period of Game 6, but lived to tell about it on the overtime winner by Dineen. Mike Tomlak has Shaw breaking in, and he can't get the shot away. Poulin got his stick in there in time to prevent that. France centers in front, and it's off Moog's stick as Verbeek was spun around by Christian.
You know, goaltenders don't get saves for that, but that's good goaltending when you're able to deflect that puck out of your zone.
Wesley and Francis crash into the boards. Tomlak works it in behind the net. Bork bumps into Verbeek. It's tapped in front. Francis in front for Tomlak, and Propp swept it away. Young shooting a bouncing puck. Deflected by Tomlak. A save in front. And Shaw has it. He fires. Deflected. They score. Ron Francis with 6:12 remaining finally solves Moog.
On this power play, the Whalers, when the puck was at their point, they just furiously tried to get to the front of the net, and they're finally rewarded with the goal. The Bruins failed to clear. Did you see Poulin shank his clearing attempt? And here's the shot by Shaw. Watch Ronnie Francis to the right of Andy Moog, and he tips it by him for the first Whaler goal. Here's another angle of it. But you could see the Whaler forwards every time the puck went to the point, just really hustling to get in front of Andy Moog and cause havoc in that area. 6:12 left.
And it's 3-1 as Babbage plays it. Francis will get his third goal of the series at 13:48. And Shaw will pick up an assist on it. He's the Whalers' scoring leader in this series with 7 points. Carpenter chops it in deep. Babbage turns away from Gould. Shaw, the only assist on that goal, is Everson. Shoots it in. Now Everson going to put it in front. Galley knocked it down. Carter tries to trap the puck against his jersey, and he does. The whistle blows as we've got Don Sweeney and Everson away from the pack. Throwing punches. 5:38 remaining in the third. The lead is now 2. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs will continue after these messages.
We tested STP oil treatment under the worst possible conditions. In the taxi cabs of New York City. The result? Engine lift to wear was reduced by up to 50%. And now there's an STP for your newer car, too.
You've just discovered your car has a clear coat finish, which your ordinary wax just ruined. Simonized non-abrasive wax won't scratch today's clear coat finishes, and that'll save you a lot of grief.
Two little buzzsaws throughout this series, John Carter and Kevin Dineen. Look down at the bottom right of your screen. The whistle's going to go now as he trapped this too long, and they're going to go at it. Carter's going to turn around like he's going to deck him one, but he knows there's 5:38 left, and he might not play much more for Mike Milbury if he was to take a penalty in that situation.
Rick Lee's team has managed 2 shots on goal in the last 22 minutes, and one has ended up in the back of the net to get the Whalers on the board. They've been out to shot 13-2 in that span, and they'll try to generate more pressure here. Bork drives it away. Shaw gets to the point. It's shoveled by Carpenter down the ice. Samuelson has backed up the play, And he's passed to Krieger's over 2 lines, and the whistle blows. As we look at Todd Krieger from the University of Connecticut, and he hasn't been able to get his speed unleashed. Well, he's had some good scoring chances, but not really skating to the extent that he did early in the series. The Bruins just haven't let him.
That's right. They really didn't know much about Todd Krieger. They did after the first 2 games, and they paid more attention to him. Like we keep mentioning the few shots that the Whalers have had. Well, the Bruins haven't had a great amount of shots, but they're not the ones who need the goals.
Their team goals against in this series was .322. Here's a shot, a save by Sidorkovich on the Bork drive, and Wesley keeps it in deep. Burridge has it, pops it in front. He couldn't quite get it in front, and Sidorkovich covers it on the side of the net. The Bruins have had their up and down moments defensively in this series. Their goals against was well below 3 to win the Jennings. 3-2-2 coming into this one, but boy, they have been sharp tonight when it's had to be sharp.
And when Raymond Bork skated on the ice to start this hockey game, I think that's when they become really sharp.
That can do it for you. Bork pulling a Willis Reed tonight. Coming on after his teammates had started the warm-up. The fans who were in the building at the time were anticipating perhaps the appearance of Ray, as word had filtered around the building that he was on the ice at 6 o'clock trying to test that injured leg. And lo and behold, he did come out, and he's played an outstanding game tonight. As Babbage is back with a puck, it's deflected by Poulin right to Jay Leach, Whalers assistant coach. 4:45 left in the third.
That was a little theatrics by the Bruins and Raymond Bork. We look at Dave Poulin. When Raymond Bork wasn't in the lineup and Craig Janney wasn't in the lineup, he took the bull by the horns. He became their leader. He became their, I guess, the take charge guy. Now that Bork's back, Janney's back, who we haven't seen much in this period, he just reverts back to his role. Ace checker. Will take a shot at putting the puck in the net if it's there, but his priority is playing against Ronnie Francis and checking.
And he took charge at just the right time for his team, down 5-2 after 2 periods in Game 4. If they were to lose that game, they would have been down 3-1. Instead, he had a few things to say in the dressing room and led the charge on the ice with 2 goals and an assist in the third period as the Bruins won at 6-5. Tied the series at that point. The Bruins eventually went ahead 3-2, and they find themselves in a deciding game situation here, but they have a 2-goal lead as they clear the zone. Shaw to Deneen. Shovels it ahead to Tippett. Tomlak's with him. Here's Samuelson late. Tippett fires to the goal mouth, and it's wide as Moog was dumped. Tomlak worked it in front. Deneen shoots, a save by Moog, and without his crapper, he grabs it barehanded to get a whistle.
Well, first of all, Kevin Deneen did not get good wood on his shot. He was all alone in the slot area.
3-1 Boston, under 4 minutes to go in the third. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs will continue after these messages.
The Orient needs something. The West has it. The problem for CSX transportation, to get it there on time. The answer? A 9X computer system. Sophisticated, global. So in Tokyo, soybeans can be made into tofu, just in time for lunch.
Dave Babbage with a shot. It's deflected behind the net. Bork is rushed by Deneen. The puck is loose. It's swatted to the corner. Neely slides in there without a stick, as his was broken, and he gets a whistle.
Let's go back to the Andy Moog save. This was developed by Dave Tippett leading a rush in. He's going to try and pass it to Mike Tomlak in the crease. You see Moog lose his glove as it's stuck in Dave Christian in the crossbar. Now here's the opportunity. Oh my goodness. You talk about dramatics, Rick. Look at this. I don't ever remember. I can remember goaltenders putting their bare hand on the puck, say on the ice, but never catching one like that.
He was just thankful that Dineen wasn't looking glove side there. It got good wood on it.
He did shank his shot a little bit, but and that was a break for the Bruins. The Bruins, that was not like the Boston Bruins. First of all, allowing the original attempt from the pass from Tippett to Tomlak, and what developed after that.
The Bruins want to take on their longtime playoff rivals, the Montreal Canadiens. If they hold this lead, they will do so in the best-of-7 divisional final series that would begin at Boston Garden on Thursday night. Montreal finished 3rd in the regular season in the Adams division, 4th overall.
Koharski was doing a little coaching there, Rick. He was telling Rick Lee who he had to have on the ice. A little late change by the Whalers.
Whalers are looking for an 11th hour comeback here. Francis has put them on the board to the 3rd, and the puck is just cleared by Dineen's stick. Neely has it. Christian out ahead for Propp. Propp is checked by Babbage. Young takes it. He's pressured by Neely. Ferraro gives it to Young. And Ferraro comes out 2-on-1 with Dineen. Ray Ferraro fakes, shoots, deflected, and it's swept away. Babbage rushes in. The backhander dribbles wide. Dineen to Young. The drive. It's deflected wide by Neely. Dineen shoots, and it's blocked by Bork. Bork and Bob Sweeney stood in front of Andy Moog, who had lost his stick and all of that, and we get a whistle for an icing called against the Bruins. 3 minutes to go in the 3rd.
I think you might see Mike Milbury take a timeout pretty soon. I mean, this is a major breakdown by the Bruins, allowing a 3-on-1 with 3 minutes left. And I really don't believe that the Whalers got a shot on the net on Andy Moog with this 3-on-1. Let's watch it develop. You see Neely goes down a little early. Raymond Bork tried to block the pass before it happened. I don't think this puck ever made Andy Moog. You see how great, why players are so great? It's their reaction. Raymond Bork was turned around there, but he turned the right way, reacted quickly, took the puck off Kevin Dineen's stick, and that was the end of the action around the Bruins net. I think the big question is, right now, is how Raymond Bork will feel tomorrow, as far as Raymond Bork's concerned. But there's 3 minutes left, and they have to get out of this alive.
Francis and Christian, the Whalers win the draw. Shaw shoots toward the net. It was deflected wide, and Verbeek and Galley and Moog all met, and the net was moved away for the Magnets. And Moog has spent a lot of time at his backside here in this 3rd period.
Koharski right off the bat pointed to both, I believe it was Galley and Pat Verbeek, saying they were both responsible for that net coming off its magnets. That's why the faceoff will be inside.
Pat Verbeek waits for the faceoff to start, and now Ron Francis is called over from the Hartford bench. He was trying to buy a little time and get some instructions from Rick Lee. Talk about people who've been waiting for a 7th game against the Bruins. Rick Lee would qualify. He was the captain of the Hartford Whalers for many of their WHA years. Spent some time coaching in the organization. Has ridden the buses in the minors to get his first NHL opportunity this year, and he has done exceedingly well with it. Bradshaw's pass taken. Christian cuts in. Forced wide by Shaw. Pulled it. Throwing out in front. Shaw and Francis going to work on him. Francis had it worked away by Burry. 2.5 to go in regulation time as out comes Tomlin. Pushes it to Francis. And the play is whistled down offside by Ray Scampanello.
2:26. Once again, Rick, the edge for the Bruins is the fact that they can utilize a lot of their players. You saw the The drained look on the Whalers' faces, Francis and Pat Verbeek. They played a lot of hockey. Bradshaw get the puck up here, but he makes a great recovery to knock the puck off Christian's stick. You see Ulf stick. Watch Ulf Samuels, number 5 in front of the net. Christian will get his stick in the leg area and knock Ulf to the ice. That would have been a penalty any other time, but Koharski did not see that. There is a timeout.
Rick Lee is burning his one timeout with 2:26 remaining in regulation time, and Ricky hopes it's not 2:26 left in the season.
It's a happy Bruin fan. I don't think Ricky will pull Peter Sidorquist just yet, but it's a lot different being down 2 than 1, obviously, and you have to pull your goaltender a lot earlier. You don't wait for the 40 or 50-second mark. I think you have to pull them when it's you need 2 goals. You have to pull them if you get a draw down there, it's somewhere inside 2 minutes. But this face-off will be in the neutral ice area.
Now the sellout crowd exhorts its heroes. You see the story. The Whalers have Young back of defense in a power play type alignment with Babbage, Tomlak, whose board work and effort in tight quarters is perfectly suited to this arena. Out there with Francis and Verbeek, the Bruins have Carter, Carpenter, and Gould on. Wesley and Bork work defensively. Gary, have you seen Bork favoring that left side at all tonight?
Not at all. I watched for it early, Rick, and he took a couple of hits, and I think that answered a lot of questions to him, and he's been just the way he usually is. That's pretty good.
He stepped in after missing 4 games. Carpenter chops it into the zone. Verbeek runs over Carpenter. Tomlak steps out. 4 Bruins are back. Tomlak can't beat Bork on the one-on-one. Babbage, though, holds it in. Sidorkovich has gone to the bench. The extra man is on for the Whalers. Verbeek trying to center, and he does through the goal mouth. It's pushed by Gould to the point. Babbage wrists it off the glove. It bounces to Verbeek, trying to knife it out in front. Verbeek now goes to Young. Quick shot is blocked. Carter takes his time and clears. Babbage has to give chase with 1:34 left in the third. Jennings plays it into the zone, and Don Sweeney moves it to Gould, out for Poulin. He's checked by Everson. Burridge is bumped by Jennings. Bork has the loose puck, angles it across to Burridge, sails it into the empty net, but it's ruled offside. No goal. An offside pass against Boston.
What a great shot. I looked at both linesmen. Ray Scampanelli in the Bruins zone. Ron Finn right where Burridge touched the puck. Not much of an argument, but they both pointed to the 2-liner. You see right there the pass? Watch if we can see Ron Finn right here against the board. See the signal? Scampanelli was pointing from his position. Ron Finn from his.
1:15 left. And they've already chalked that one up. And they straighten out that situation. The Whalers are down 2 with 1:15 to go in the third.
This particular play coming up with the face-off just inside the Bruin blue line will look for Kevin Dineen scooting down the right side. We won't see him. He's not in your picture, but he's up on the top right of your screen.
Jody Hall fires it toward the net. Bork tapped it wide. Everson centers. It's broken up by 3 Bruins in front. Bork to Christian. He worked it to center with just over a minute to go. Young's pass to Ferraro. Now it's taken by Poulin. Shaw recovers it. And he fumbles the puck. Recovers it, though, now to give it to Dean Everson. It's a 5-man rush as Hull sends it in. Dineen moves it in front. Galley blocks it. Everson shoots, and it's kicked out by Moog. Shaw pinches in. Bork comes into the play now as he bumps with Hull. Burridge is in there, scrambling for the puck. 30 seconds to go as Young comes back.
I don't believe the opportunities the Whalers are getting in the last 5 minutes. I mean, with any luck and some expertise of putting the puck in the net, this could be very easily a tie game.
No icing now as Bork races back for the puck. You see the time left. Francis trying to stop that clearing attempt. And the Bruins get the job done. Shaw plays it to center. And the Garden crowd's going wild as Francis cuts in, shoots, and he sends it wide, and that will do it.
Well, there's a big sigh of relief from the Bruins. The Whalers give them all they could handle. And I'll tell you, this was right up to the 60-minute mark of this deciding game. This was some series, believe me. And I think this rivalry will get better and will grow as time goes on. But the Whalers made a statement, Rick, in this series, believe me.
A statement for the future. New owner Richard Gordon. New general manager Ed Johnston, new head coach Rick Lee this season. Trying to get things going in a different direction. And this is certainly a good start.
No question about that. This team is much more enthusiastic, spirited than it's ever been. This is a team going in the forward direction. I'll tell you, it took all the experience and savvy of the Bruins to beat them. And that, I think, was the main difference when you come right down and analyze it.
Jerry, whether the Bruins remain healthy from here in the playoffs, however far they go, certainly they have found out a lot about some role players on this team who came to the fore when the chips were down, certainly.
The most important factor as far as the Bruins were going, winning this series, a fact, you know, their experiences we mentioned, Rick, but how they responded to Raymond Bourque going down. I mean, I'm sure people said they can't do it without Raymond Bourque. They survived without Raymond Bourque. When Raymond Bourque showed up, they did do it.
Andy Moog, outstanding. We saw Peter Sidorkovich before that. There were a lot of people outside of Hartford in the city as well who doubted how well he could compete in this series as Kay Whitmore, certainly a man for the future for the Whalers, heads off the ice now. But hey, Sidorkovich, you couldn't play much better than he did.
Peter Sidorkovich has nothing to be ashamed of, Rick. If there was a down spell, it was the Bruin comeback in Game 4, but that's certainly a team happening when that does happen. He has got to feel good, and the organization's got to feel good about Peter Sidorkovich and the potential of Kay Whitmore.
3-1 the final. The Bruins win the series in 7 games. They'll go on to face Montreal in the Adams Division final starting Thursday night here. Jerry and I will return with some final comments in just a moment.